Welcome to Athar's Garage. In this video, I'll be working on the Team Associated B74.2 Bag 9. So let's get started. So Bag 9 is going to be the turnbuckles and ball cups that we're going to assemble. They're going to be, I believe, 3 different length turnbuckles. There's a 42 millimeter in length that's going to be used on the front for the camber links and the steering links, and then for the rear they're going to be 45 millimeter turnbuckles, and then the servo link is going to be a 35 millimeter turnbuckle. So let's get these lined up and we can measure them. Okay, so we have our fronts, our rear, and our steering. So let's go ahead and set up the front ball cups. We're gonna need 4 straight ball cups, and take note of the turnbuckles. There's a little notch. It's kind of hard to see on here, but there's a little notch. Alright, so right here there's a little notch that indicates left-hand thread. So we want to put all the left-hand threads on the left-hand side of the car. That way when you make adjustments on the car, it's going to be in the same direction on all 4 corners. Alright, so we're going to get 4 straight ball cups. Just sanding down any rough spots or sharp edges, that way it doesn't catch on anything or grab any carpet fuzz, since this is a carpet car. So we've got, it doesn't matter which one goes on which end because they're all straight, but when we do the next step, bag 9 step 3, we're going to make sure that the offset ball cups are in the right direction. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of oil on the threads to help lubricate and make it a little easier to install the turnbuckles. So this side doesn't have the notch, it's a right hand thread. This side's left hand thread. So the total length between shoulder to shoulder from the ball cups is supposed to be 22.5 millimeters. I'm not concerned with that right now because it's much more difficult to make that length happen when this is not on the car. So I'm just gonna check to make sure I have about the even amount of threads showing on both sides, and I do. So this is ready to install onto the chassis. The turnbuckles are supposed to be 90 degrees from each other. So this one's ready to install on the chassis, so I'm going to go ahead and set that aside. I'm going to go ahead and do the next one. So these 2 turnbuckles are ready to install onto the chassis. So these are the camber links that we just made. So grab your chassis, make sure that your axles are installed, and these are going to install onto the chassis now. The manual got me a little confused, but the ball stud is on the back of the tower. So we're going to install on to this ball stud and to this one over here. And we want to make sure that the notch is facing the left side of the vehicle. And take note of the ball cups. There's a side that is slightly larger than the other one. So we want to use the larger side to install the ball cup. Notch on the left side. And now that it's on the chassis, you can go ahead and adjust the length to make it 22.5 millimeters. So you want to go towards the back of the vehicle to make it shorter and towards the front of the vehicle to make it longer. And that's going to be the case for every corner. Now we can make our steering links. So for our steering links, we're going to need the 42 millimeter turnbuckles. Just make sure you have the right ones. And we're going to need 2 straight ball cups and the offset ball cups. Now, the thing to note on the offset ball cups is that they are labeled 1 and 2. So you can see here, there's a 1, and on this one, there's a 2. So take note of that, because the number 1 goes on the left side of the car and the number 2 goes on the right side of the car. So we have our left side turnbuckle here and our right side turnbuckle here. Got the notch indicating the left side. So we know that the number 1 offset ball cup is going to be on the left side of the car, so it'll be there. And then the number 2 is going to be on the right side of the car. So we're going to assemble it in this orientation. Again, I'm not worried about total length right now. Just want to make sure that it's even on both sides, because it's going to be easier to adjust this once it's installed on the car. And for the installation, the small side is going to be facing up over here, and then on the inside, the straight one, the big side is going to be facing up, since the orientation of the ball cups is, or the orientation of the ball studs are that way. So this was the left-hand side. So we have our left-hand side of the car. It's going to install like so. And then the right-hand side of the car, it's going to install like so. So the bend is actually going to be facing, it's going to be going towards the rear of the car. Okay, so the total length, or the shoulder to shoulder length for these steering turnbuckles is supposed to be 20.8. I'm doing this one first, just so that way I have a lot of room to play with on this side to install. All right, so the front end is done. We can move on to the rear. I'm gonna have to come back and squeeze the ball cups a little bit because it's inconsistent. I mean, this link here and this link here are pretty loose, but these two are extremely stiff. So I'm gonna go back once I'm done with everything and check and make sure that I can get everything loose and moving freely, so there's no binding. So for the rear, we're gonna need the 45 millimeter long turnbuckles, and it's going to be simple. Just make sure that you have the notches facing the left side of the car, and we just need to have the straight ball cups. So let's grab 4 of those. I'm going to go ahead and grab the extra ball cup that we need for the steering link. Just go ahead and assemble these. Okay, so the rear end link ball cups are supposed to be 90 degrees from each other. So these look about even. So we can go ahead and install these onto the rear end. We have the right side of the car, left side of the car. I want to make sure that the notch is on the left side of the car. So I can install this one over here. Notch left side of the car. Okay, so now we can set the rear camber links to the correct length. They're supposed to be 25.2 millimeters. That's done. Now I can assemble the steering link. So the steering link needs to be 15 millimeters from shoulder to shoulder. Okay, and the ball cups are going to be 90 degrees from each other. So the steering link is going to install in this orientation, and the ball stud for the steering from the steering servo is going to go in this direction. So we can go ahead and install this piece and adjust the total length. And in order to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stick a hex wrench in there. I've got the left hand thread on the left side of the car, and now I can adjust the same way I've been doing to get the proper length. That way y'all can see better. We got 15 millimeters. Everything is on there. Did notice that, some of these are stiff. That one's fine, this one's stiff, this one's stiff. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go grab a needle nose plier and then slowly compress the ball cups to see if it'll loosen up. All right, so I got some needle nose pliers to see if I can loosen up the ball cups. I truly hate this part, having to do this, just because, I don't want to mar up brand new plastic, brand new build. So just one of those things that I dislike. I think for me, it's more of a quality issue that they didn't quite get the molds right. So, but see if we can protect some of this plastic using a microfiber towel. Okay, so it is much better, still not the way I like it, but hopefully they'll break in and loosen up with a little bit of runtime. If not, I'm probably just gonna go buy another set of ball cups and find the ones that are stiff and replace them until I find the perfect combo where it's nice and smooth. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe if you found it helpful. Please let me know down in the comments if you have an easier way to make turnbuckles. This is probably one of my least favorite things to do. Didn't quite like the way that they fit. Some are tight, some are loose, so we'll just see how it goes, and I'll report back in my review video after I run this. So thanks again for watching. Stay tuned for the next video where I tackle bag 10. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.